And hello again, everyone. Welcome back for another edition of Panther Pride, where we talk Wellborn football here on TV 24. I'm Mickey Shadrich, joined by Wellborn coach Jeff Smith. The Panthers lost a tough region game last Friday night at home to Weber by a final score of 27-6. The Panthers' first loss of the 2016 season. Coach, we knew going in this would be a challenge for your team. Weber's got one of the best teams they've had in a number of years, and this was a tough, hard-fought football game. Great high school football atmosphere. You've had some time to digest what happened. Talk about the game on Friday night.
Well, I mean, Weber's got an outstanding football team, and we started the game off and we had a lot of opportunities to go ahead and get ahead of them, and we weren't able to capitalize on them for whatever reasons. And, you know, and then Weber hit a couple of big plays on us in the first half. We went in at halftime 13-6 and kind of played that way, you know, into the fourth quarter, just kind of back and forth. And then we got into their territory and turned the ball over, and then they drove that drive down and got ahead of us by 2 scores, and we're trying to get back into it, and they got ahead of us by another score on that. You know, I thought our kids fought hard. I thought they played hard for 4 quarters. I just felt like we had some opportunities that we had in front of us that we weren't able to capitalize on, and it cost us.
That's the thing that really stood out in the game to me, because the game started off, things really, your kids kind of seized control of the game early. You had the field position advantage.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the first quarter, if not all the first quarter, was played on their side of the 50. I think you had at least 4 opportunities to score, 2 in the red zone. You had that turnover inside the 5. As a coach, when you're watching that happen, and you only get so many possessions in a high school football game anyway, you knew they had the big play capability. Kind of a tough spot to be in when you've got those opportunities and you can't cash in.
Oh, it's real tough, you know, and like you said, we had opportunities. We had the ball on the 5-yard line, 1st and goal on the 5, fumble the ball going into the end zone, which we normally don't do. The next possession, our defense came out there, played outstanding, forced a bad punt. And I would like to say this about our special teams. Our special teams have been great all year. And they were really good Friday night too. So we kept possession inside their 50, got it down there again, had a pass in the end zone that came up short. Again, held them again, got the ball back in there. And I think it was three or maybe 4 times that we did have it on the other side of the 50 to start the game off and came away with no points. And when you're playing a team that's as talented as Weber is, you've got to take advantage of your opportunities when you can. And I do feel like that would have, you know, made a difference in the game. Could I say would change the win or loss? No, I can't say that, but I do think it would have changed a lot of the, you know, the outcome of the football game.
All right, we'll take a break, come back with highlights from Panther Stadium last Friday night, Wellborn and Weber, as we continue right here on Panther Pride. And we're back on Panther Pride. Wellborn taking the field at home. Coach, a great atmosphere for high school football. Great crowd on hand for this one.
I feel like playing on the hill is one of the best venues in high school football there is, period. As you see, we come out here and we were put everybody within 5 yards of the football right there. And we came out there and hit some real big passes on them right here. You see Kane catching a screen pass right here and then lowering his shoulders and getting some extra yards right there. It's real exciting. And here you're going to see Jordan Montgomery make an outstanding catch right down here. And there we are, right to the ball's on the 4-yard line. And then right here we're going into the game and going into the end zone and lay it on the ground. That was one missed opportunity. Now we got them down there, you know, inside the 5, and they come out and get a first down. But right here, as you see, our defense is going to stiffen up. And right there,
play there.
Yes. Charles Taylor right there, he jumped up and knocked the ball down. Here they come up here and they're going to run a sweep. Well, this is later on in the game right here. This is in the 2nd quarter, and they ran their quick pitch, and we missed the alignment right there and didn't line up right and missed 2 tackles, and they scored. That was right there at the end of the 1st quarter. Then we come back and hit a pass out here. This is Kid Harris catching the ball in the flat and had a nice run right here. Then we come up here and getting one of our spread sets right here, and then Jordan makes a fabulous run. If you just watch it, and you can see what I'm talking about. Takes the ball in right here, and now the game is 7-6 right here. The only problem is after Jordan made that great run, he's got to try to kick an extra point, and we failed to make it. This is later in the second quarter here. Again, we had another misalignment, and we only had 2 of those in the whole first half, but both of them cost us. And they went up 13-6 at this time. We come back, we start moving the ball a little bit here. We're trying to get something going in our ground game. Here we throw our pass right here, and it was intercepted. This was intercepted right here in the second quarter right there by their player here. Is a little flag route that we had. Here they come up here on a sweep play. Had some good yards on it. Here they try a reverse pass and connect on it right here, but we made some make a good tackle here coming up here and stop it. I think that held them from not making a first down, forced them to punt at that time. Here they run their zone read, and we didn't collapse it down, and they got a good gain on it. And here they zone read and kept it this time right here, and he cut it back. But I think we ended up making a tackle here. Yes, but they got in our field position here. Here, they come up here, they try to throw a pass here, and Jordan makes an outstanding interception here right before the half right there that kept them out of the end zone, and we get the ball on the 10-yard line.
Big play there to end the half. Weaver with a 13-6 halftime lead. What do you sense from your players now after that first half when they had so many missed opportunities in that first quarter, Coach?
Well, we were disappointed in that. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we had some opportunities in that first quarter. Now, with saying that now, Weaver also had some opportunities that we stopped them on. They turned the ball over, and we caught 2 passes in the end zone on them, intercepted 2 passes in the end zone on them. They kept them out of the end zone for 2 possessions. So some of that balanced out. But, at halftime, we went down there, we settled the kids down, tried to hydrate them back because it was a warm night. And then we went over offense first. They gave us a little different look that we were expecting right there. We kind of reassured some of our rules and everything. And then defensively, we just went over those 2 alignment miscues we had and made sure that we could get lined up against those 2 again, and went out the second half right there. And we was pretty upbeat starting the third quarter.
Seemed like you had some success there rolling your quarterback out, getting him on the move, and had a lot of big passes there to Jordan there in the first half.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, Austin really throw a football, and he's very talented at it. And I've said this before, sky's the limit for him. They had really loaded up the box and stopped the run on us right there. And what we were trying to do is get him away from the box, and so he could get a better view on the receivers downfield, and it worked. We had some real good passes. When we can get out there and he can get a good look at his read, he really does a good job with it.
And the Wellborn Band doing a great job as well. Let's listen into their halftime performance from last Friday night. And welcome back to Panther Pride. We're looking now at second half highlights. Weaver with a 13-6 lead to start the second half and with the football.
Well, they came out there and you saw they ran like a little reverse play. But, to start the third quarter off, we talked to them about how important the first 5 minutes of the third quarter was, and we really played well in that. We held them for the whole third quarter, and the game went into the fourth quarter still 13-6. Here you see we're making some good tackles here and stopping them. Here they come up with their zone read again, and this time they throw the pass out there, and they did complete it and got the ball down our territory. This might be into the fourth quarter yet, I can't tell. Right here, no, this is still the third quarter, and Montgomery had a good interception here, and we get the ball on the 20. All right, into the fourth quarter here. They run their quick pitch out of here. Again, we're getting to the ball. You know, kind of went their way there. He fumbles the ball forward for 5 more yards. Here we didn't collapse on the zone read like we should have. They're still hitting that on us right there. We're having some miscues in here, not just collapse. We're supposed to collapse on the ball on this right here, and here they're getting it down us pretty good at this time. This is into the fourth quarter. If you see, it looks a little darker. The lights on that side went out. Here we are, and that's where they went ahead right here, 20-6 on us. But those lights right there by the visitor concession stand went out on us. Here we had a play wide open right there, and we didn't block the backside, and the guy came in, made a sack, Austin, and we fumbled the football right here, and they got it back and got down in our territory here, and we're playing good on the goal line, and we're stopping them here. And I think it's on the 3rd or 4th down right here. Then they ran a little counter action right there and got into the end zone on us, and made it 27-6 right here with 3 minutes to go. Now we're not going to just sit there and run the clock out here. We're going to go down guns blazing, and we threw another interception down here in their territory, and they ended up running the clock out right there, and that's the way the game ended.
And the final score, Weaver wins it 27-6, a game much closer than the score would indicate. It's actually Weaver's first win over Wellborn since way back in 2007. And, Coach, when I got there Friday night, I saw some folks I know from Weaver, and you could kind of tell this was a game, they were so up to play you. They hadn't beat you in a long time. They knew the tradition that Wellborn has, playing at your place. They kind of knew they had a pretty good team coming this year. You had that to deal with, too. They really wanted to beat you last Friday night.
Well, we really wanted to beat them, too. I mean, that went both ways. I think what helped them, they did have a week, extra week to prepare for us. And that was also an extra week to rest their kids. We're on our open week this week. We need it. And we got some kids that are banged up, and we need to get them back healthy. And we need to take this week and get our fundamentals back down and get our kids back healthy, and then get ready for the next week, which will be homecoming in against Talladega.
I mentioned this earlier, the atmosphere. You know, you had a great crowd, as you always do.
Yes.
Tremendous support at Wellborn. They had a pretty good crowd come to the Hill as well, and some aesthetic improvements out at the stadium that looked really nice on Friday night. Again, I know you're very disappointed you lost the game, but what an atmosphere for high school football.
It's wonderful. And, you know, we had so many people that worked so hard in the last couple of weeks to get the stadium and everything ready to go for the game, the field, the stadium. You know, Jerry Ogle came out there and did the end zones in the middle of the field for us. You know, Gary Woodard, Don Pitts, Jerry Gomes, Robert Angle, they all came over and worked in the press box, you know, helped putting up the signs. And we sold a lot of signs this year. We also put up 40 former player signs where you could, for $100, you could get your number in the class you graduated, your name put up on the fence right there. And we ran that sale for probably about 3 weeks and already sold 40 signs that we put up on the hillside of the stadium. The place looked great. We had a great crowd, good support. Weaver brought a good crowd, and it was a good atmosphere for a high school football game. It just wasn't the outcome that we wanted to get out of it.
All right, despite the loss, Coach, you had some great individual efforts from your players, and let's recognize them in the weekly player awards.
Well, the racehorse was Jordan Montgomery. I mean, he had I think he had about 70 yards rushing and 70 or 80 yards receiving. Pancake block was Joseph Harris, had on a good punt return. And again, I mentioned that we've done good with our special teams all year. Headhunter was Jordan Montgomery, he had 15 tackles. The big hog was Kane Pitts as our middle linebacker. The 12th man award went to Chandler Cup, which is our special teams award. He did a good job punting for us the whole time. Headhunter, the hardest hit was Dalton Epps. He had a real good lick with really the first play of the game. And then the meanest Panther was Jordan Montgomery, best defensive back and outside linebacker performance. Offensive player of the week was Jordan Montgomery. Defensive player of the week was Jordan Montgomery. You know, he really stepped up and played well. And when we had others that really did the same thing too. So I mean, their effort was there. We just had some miscues that happened to us that put us behind. And you know, here's another thing too. We practice real good Monday, the day of Labor Day. And usually Labor Day is not a good practice, but we had a real good practice on Labor Day. But Tuesday and Wednesday we struggled in practice, and I feel like it carried over into the game. You know, you're gonna play like you practice, and what we've got to have, you know, we've got to get back to having some really good days of practice right there, and then it'll show up in the game.
All right, when we come back on Panther Pride, we're going to talk about the leadership team that Coach Smith has in place for his football program. That and a look ahead to what's on tap this open week as we continue here on Panther Pride. And welcome back to Panther Pride. Coach, tell us about the leadership team that you have in place for your football program.
Well, we started this a couple of years ago, and I was just thinking that, you know, we always rely on our seniors so heavily to be leaders, but we're not grooming the ones underneath them to be leaders. So what I started doing is having, you know, 3 or 4 seniors, 2 or 3 juniors, 2 or 3 sophomores, and trying to groom them all to be leaders, you know, in the future for our team and really out in the world. Mm-hmm. And we started it last year, and I did it again this year. And basically, I pick a leadership team right after football season ends, and we try to meet at least once a month before school, and basically talk about, you know, our goals, what we want out of the team, what we expect out of each other. And I did it all the way through spring training. Now in the summer we didn't meet, and then Dalton Screws has been coming back and speaking to our team, really serving a lot of our team chaplain. And then so he met with the leadership team 2 weeks ago, and then this week when Chase come by, I thought that it'd be good for him to talk with them and kind of get their view on how everything should be going.
And our own Chase Robinson did have a chance to speak with your leadership group after practice one day last week. Let's listen into that.
We're Welborn's leadership team, and week by week we work on being the leaders for the football team and keeping everybody up week to week, not letting us get down. And we're meant to be the team's best of the best, and just getting the rest of the team up so we can all be on the same page so we can win every week.
Come out here every day willing to work hard. I truly believe we have the best team in the county. We have the best leadership in the county. Every day we look at our guys and we just know we're going to make it to that state championship. We just have that winning mentality.
Giving God the glory day to day.
Every day. All glory goes to God.
I think that we have the best leadership this year than we've had in a very long time.
Yes.
The team's closer together. Each one of us are closer to each other than they were before.
Our younger guys are listening to us. So we make sure they listen.
Very, very mature sounding group of young men there, Coach.
They were, and you could tell they were very tired too, because that was after practice. They looked really worn up there, but
one of those bad practices, right?
Yeah, it wasn't the best day as far as practice goes, but they're fine young men, and they're doing a good job as far as leading our team. After the game was over Friday, we were all upset. We lost the game and how we played and everything. But when I got downstairs, we had Montgomery was talking to the team, and then Kane Pitts was talking to the team about, this was a setback and let's just move forward and get better right there. And I thought they really handled that loss maturely. Even though it was a loss and they didn't like it, but they handled it maturely and knowing what we got to do to step forward to improve the team.
Coach, before we take our last break, I know you want to thank some of your area churches that
yes,
really contribute a lot to your team.
They do, and I like West Park Heights, Hewletton Methodist, the Center of Hope. We have the Church on the Rock, West Sanston Baptist, Hillcrest. They've really helped us out a lot. And then I want to mention, especially the church that I attend is Hewletton Baptist. They went above and beyond trying to help the team and help our community too. Wednesday night they really go out and get a lot of the young kids and get them into the church. And our Wednesday night program is just outstanding. And Randy Hulson's our preacher, and he's done a great job. And if you don't have a church, we got plenty to offer.
Well, if you wrote a book on how to do high school football right, you could start in Welborn, couldn't you, Coach?
That's exactly right.
All right, we'll take a break and look ahead to the open week, how Coach Smith will handle that, and much more as we wrap up this week's show here on Panther Pride. And we're back on Panther Pride. And Coach, if there is one great thing or a silver lining on a loss, is that you always have another game, at least till you get to the playoffs anyway. This is the next game for Wellborn, but it's not till a week away. Wellborn is open this week. Next game for the Panthers will be at home on September the 23rd against a much improved Talladega team. Coach, tell us about how you will handle the open week. I know you mentioned earlier in the show that you really feel like your players, especially with so many of your kids having to play both ways in special teams, needing a break. So how you handle the open week? Well,
what we're going to do is Monday we're just going to play junior high and B team games. The guys are on the varsity. We're going to meet that morning and we're going to show them the film and run them. And I'm not going to practice them Monday afternoon. We'll work with the B team kids right after school and then get them ready to go over there. We've got a junior high and B team game with Jacksonville on Monday. We're going to practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I'm going to give them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off again. That's 3 more days. So they can get 6 days of rest here in this next week. I think it'll help them tremendously, and they need that. We're really at the midway point of the season. We practiced for 6 weeks and played for 6 weeks. This is the middle week, and then we're going to play for the next 6 weeks. So this is a great time for it to come, and we actually do need it a lot.
And Talladega, as I mentioned, much improved this year. There'll be a challenge for you a week from Friday night.
Well, they are. You know, Coach Herron's oldest son is the coach at Talladega, and they've really got out there and improved. You know, they're a 5A school now. I mean, now, so, you know, they're going to be a much improved 5A, and we're 3A. So it's going to be a challenge in front of us with them coming out there, not to mention the challenge of it being a homecoming week, too. So we've got to really use these next 2 weeks to get ourselves back right and get focused on this next opponent.
All right, we'll take a break from the show as well next week with the open week. We'll rejoin you the week after the Talladega game. Thanks for joining us this week on Panther Pride.